Alright, so I'm going to be tearing into this Thai SF, Special Forces. I'm going to be putting a red LED in 2 locations at these 2 engine ports. So I'm going to drill into this now, and hopefully you can kind of take some tips on how to do this. So let's dive in. First step I'm going to be using is a 0.8 millimeter drill bit. Drilling in kind of at a sideways angle, so from above it looks like this. And I'm trying to aim for the center of the ship. Okay, I'm going to continue that, and the goal is for these 2 drill holes to kind of intersect in the middle. Okay, now that those 2 holes are drilled, the next step is to take this little peg off, because I'm going to be drilling up into the body of this ship. And a simple way of doing that is getting some flush trim cutters, and sometimes it just pops out just like that, which is nice. I've actually salvaged that, and I'll be gluing that back in when I'm all done. Okay, so I'll set this aside somewhere I'm not going to lose it. It's maybe about a 1/16. Should be roughly that size, so this will work. Okay, the next step here is kind of to drill towards these holes as close as you can really cut it, because we're trying to tunnel through this ship. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to be back. I'm going to get a wire and see if I can kind of tunnel through there and make sure that I can route my wires down and through the body. So this wire that I've been able to thread all the way through. So this angle of this drill bit is going right into this cavity. So now I can start to route all my, these are red LEDs. I'll give some more information about that in a minute. So I'm going to finish up this job, and when I come back, all these LEDs will be in their positions. Okay, I got both through. All right. Okay, so one of the steps I forgot to tell you is to bend these little guys kind of in an L shape, I suppose. Okay, do that to both of them. There. A little super glue. Just kind of scoop a little bit of super glue on the back sides of those. Like that. Let's see. Oops. What did I do? Maybe a little too much glue there. There we go. Okay, I'm going to see how that looks. Let's let that dry for a minute, and then we'll... Okay, so it looks like both LEDs are working just fine. Okay. You may just want to position them as the glue is still setting. Just position those LEDs nice and flat and in line. Let me adjust this guy just a hair. All right. Okay, the next step is to prep the base for the battery. So let's do that next. Okay, so this step, I've already recorded a video about how to prep your bases for the batteries. This should look familiar with you if you've seen my first video on Patreon/PushTheLimitsLED. So please take a look at that. The process is really simple. You take this kit, mark those locations, drill a hole, put a slot right there, and then this peels like a sticker. Okay, so I want you to go check that video out, and then we'll be back and we'll take a look at the final product here. Okay, so I've done the next step. I've put the battery holder kit on my base, and so the next step is going to be to trim the LED wires so that it's the right size, and then I'll solder on the metal leads. So, okay, so this little tab that we pulled off a little bit ago, we're gonna need to glue that back into place. Take a little bit of Gorilla Glue. Now, we'll also want to, let's see, let's do this here. There, that's gonna help us line this puppy up when we're all done. Actually, I think what I'll do is put it on this thing like that. Ow, I'm stuck. Okay, wires go in the back. And insert post, insert peg. And I'm just gonna hold it here for a few seconds in the right position. Make sure this is in the nice and level. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this in position. This is gonna make sure that it's sitting flat and level and in the right direction of my base. That looks pretty good. All right, so, okay. So we're at this point where we have the peg put together. The peg is glued in. I'm going to be measuring how much to trim here. And I like to put this in, and let's see how much we need to trim off here. Okay, with everything pulled tight, I'm going to trim it like right about here, just like that. Alright, that gives me about a measurement where to trim. Alright, next step is to take a little piece of this PVC tube. This is about 1/4 inch. Around an 1/8 inch diameter. It's just about the same size as these pegs. So I'm going to cut 2 little sections of that. Okay. All right, so these are going to be keeping the wires nice and tidy down the peg. So slip that on, and then slip that on there. I like to wet these down with a little bit of saliva just so they slide on this peg a little bit easier. Okay. Oops, let's make sure that those are around the back side like that. Okay, the first one goes all the way up. Like we go. Okay. All right, and then the second one will be down at the bottom. There. So at this point now we have the tie SF. We've got the wires running down the back side, which is nice because you're never going to see those really. Okay, so let's take an X-Acto knife and strip the ends of each one of these. Well, first of all, let's make sure everybody is exactly the same length. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to strip these, and then we'll get to the point where we're soldering on the metal strips. Okay, so let's take, well, first of all, I got these nice and stripped, so those will be ready for soldering. I'll take my soldering iron, and let's get some solder on that. Let's start with the red guys, why not? Okay, I get these guys kind of bundled together. Get a little bit of rosin on there. Good. Alright, now just clip that down to about, I don't know, what is that, a ½ inch? Tucker? I don't know where he's at. Okay. Okay. Let's see if this works here. Black. There we go. Look.
Like I haven't seen that before.
Have you seen this one already?
The red sweater? Isn't that like one of the first ones you ever did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course I've seen it.
Alright.
It's so cool.
Oh. Come on. Let's see, red goes on this side, black goes on this side. There we go. Okay. Alright guys, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. I want to make sure that you come back and take a look at some of the other stuff I'll be doing. Like a tie silencer, I'll be doing some lightsaber mods with Star Wars Legion, all kinds of other cool videos coming out soon. So stay tuned.